Some people say I'm like a webcomic hero. He's handsome, strong, and popular with everyone at school, but his life isn't as perfect as it seems. He has one great, terrible flaw. He just can't seem to get a six-pack. Truly a modern tragedy. Then, without warning, his world shatters. He's thrown into a place he doesn't recognize. A world of monsters and dangerous quests. He learns to fight dangerous monsters, and even makes a few new friends along the way. But despite the camaraderie, he knows he can't stay here forever. His path forward is blocked by the clash of steel. A powerful warrior stands in his way, refusing to let him pass. She declares herself the guardian of this tower, the strongest in the district. And their battle begins in a flurry of motion. She unleashes a dark aura, her job to guard the romance district. Our hero realizes he might not be strong enough to win. He has no choice but to use his secret technique. He charges forward, ignoring her taunts. But her confidence shatters in an instant. A smirk crosses his face. With a blinding flash, he breaks through her guard. She can only watch in disbelief as she's overwhelmed. And there it is, his ultimate power-up. A glorious six-pack. The Guardian falls, utterly defeated. He lets his sword fall, ready for the final level. His journey through this vast world has been long. But a new rank brings with it new challenges. His new power-up comes with some serious stat boosts. And yes, even his abs get their own dedicated stat line. But his next challenge is already upon him. A beast far stronger than he anticipated. He's already wounded, and a voice reminds him this was his choice. He calls out for help, but is told to calm down. The stakes are clear. Failure means being trapped here forever. He takes a moment to center himself, steeling his resolve for the fight ahead, and the beast roars, ready to attack. The monster lunges forward with a deafening roar. As our hero meets its charge, his mind flashes back to a time when his fights were a little more academic. The 20th Junior Kumdo Championship, where the clash of bamboo swords echoed through the hall. His classmates watch from the stands, a mix of nerves and excitement. A teammate anxiously prays for their captain to land the final strike. The pressure of the final match is clearly getting to him, but he notices the captain's best friend, Yunho, is completely unfazed. In fact, Yunho seems confident that the opponent will win. Yunho knows the opponent's drive isn't just for the team's honor. It's for the girl in the stands cheering him on. The opponent, Sung Soo-woo, channels that passion into his stance. Our hero seems to notice something is off. He commits to his attack, aiming for the winning point. But Soo-woo's strike lands first, clean and decisive. The judge's flag confirms the final score, and Bagan High School takes home the championship trophy. In the post-match interview, Soo-woo humbly credits his team. The reporter mentions his girlfriend, and he's mobbed by admirers. The reporter playfully teases him about his supportive girlfriend, but his legion of fans seems less than thrilled by the news. He credits his success to self-discipline and mental fortitude. But the reporter seems more interested in his physical training. Specifically, she's very curious about his abs. And suddenly, the entire crowd wants a demonstration. Soo-woo is frozen in pure, unadulterated panic. He knows his perfect reputation is about to be shattered. The reporter tries to help him with the big reveal. As the crowd chants, he silently calls for his friend to save him. But a hand suddenly grabs her wrist, stopping her cold. It's Yunho, arriving just in the nick of time. The reporter protests, but Yunho insists she doesn't understand. He claims the captain has a very sensitive stomach. Soo-woo can only stare, shocked by the excuse. The crowd freezes, imagining the worst. Yunho doubles down, selling a story of a chronic condition. The reporter, completely fooled, urges them to find a restroom. But Yunho's helpfulness goes a little too far. The entire crowd is left speechless by his offer. Later, inside the Kumdo club room, the captain and his friend make their entrance. The other members quickly apologize and clear out, leaving the two of them alone in the tense silence. Yunho quietly hands over a strange-looking garment. And we finally see the physique Soo-woo was so desperate to hide. But the captain is anything but grateful for the save. Grabbing his friend and accusing him of ruining his reputation, he's furious that Yunho used the worst excuse in history. But Yunho calmly points out he was just improvising. Yunho playfully pokes Soo-woo's stomach, calling his excuse a work of genius. Soo-woo insists he's owed a massive apology, but Yunho just offers to buy him lunch. The offer of a free meal does little to calm Soo-woo's rage. Just then, a phone starts buzzing in Soo-woo's pocket. The interruption breaks the tension for a moment. He pulls out his phone, his eyes widening at the screen, and his anger melts away into a lovesick grin. Ah, young love. Yunho correctly guesses the caller is his girlfriend, Hyunjin, and doesn't hide his disdain. Soo-woo sighs, wondering why his best friend dislikes his girlfriend so much. He even suggests Yunho should get to know her, certain he'd change his mind. Soo-woo asks Yunho to cover for him with the coach. He calls it a favor and leaves in a hurry. Yunho is left alone, sighing in frustration. He wonders when his friend will ever learn his lesson. Meanwhile, Soo-woo is looking forward to a night of celebration. A night with the person he loves most. Priorities, am I right? But he's completely unaware of the trouble brewing behind him. A group of menacing figures watches him go. His girlfriend, Hyunjin, waits for him as the sun sets, and Suwoo runs to meet her, his heart full of joy. She greets him with a warm, inviting smile. Suwoo apologizes for being late, but she brushes it off. He explains her message was a perfect escape from an argument with Yunho, but Hyunjin seems concerned, asking about the team's victory party. Suwoo quickly insists that he'd much rather be here with her. He assures her she's his top priority, ready to celebrate their victory. She smiles, revealing she has a special reward planned for him. An invitation for a more private celebration later that night. Well, that escalated quickly. She moves closer, and Suwoo seems a little taken aback by her forwardness. As the sun sets over the city, their night is just beginning. The two walk together as evening settles over the city. Their date begins with a meal at a quiet restaurant. But Suwoo seems a little distracted, watching her closely. He plays the part of the doting boyfriend, sharing his meal. After dinner, they browse the aisles of a local bookstore. Hyunjin picks out a book with a rather dramatic cover. She shows it to Suwoo, whose reaction is less than enthusiastic. The romantic pressure seems to be getting to him. Our boy is flustered. As night deepens, they walk through the bustling city streets. He asks where they're going, but she says it's a surprise, leading him down a dark alley. Suwoo asks about the reward she promised earlier. He questions her choice of path, a dark and isolated alley. But they're not alone. A menacing figure blocks their way. The mood instantly shifts from romantic to dangerous. The stranger taunts Suwoo, accusing him of cheating in the tournament. And Suwoo finally recognizes his ambusher. It's Kim Namjoon, his opponent from the championship match. Suwoo fires back with some very pointed psychological warfare. He calmly explains that he's not equipped for a fight. But Namjoon isn't interested in a fair rematch. But Suwoo's eyes narrow with focus. He grabs the nearest object and fights back against the thugs. He cries out as they break the rules of a fair fight. But Namjoon just smirks, making it clear he doesn't care. Suwoo uses the book as a makeshift shield to block a kick. He realizes this isn't about a rematch. It's just a beatdown. His only thought is to get Hyunjin away from the danger. He throws her the book, telling her to run while he holds them off. But a scream from behind stops him in his tracks. Namjoon's friends have grabbed Hyunjin, forcing her to watch the show. Suwoo demands they release Hyunjin, insisting she's innocent. But Namjoon just grins, questioning if Suwoo is in any position to worry about her. He swings his weapon, sending Suwoo crashing to the ground. Surrounded by trash, Suwoo pleads for a fair rematch. Namjoon scoffs at the idea of fairness, bringing up Suwoo's supposed cheating. He accuses Suwoo of breaking Kumdo etiquette by striking a senior. Worse, he was publicly humiliated by Yunho's ridiculous excuse. Namjoon believes this beatdown will restore his honor and secure his legacy. A bit dramatic for a high school grudge match. Suwoo realizes talking is useless. He has to fight back. He desperately searches a nearby trash can for anything to use as a weapon. And from the depths of the trash, a strange light emerges. Suwoo's eyes lock onto the glowing object, a desperate idea forming. Namjoon roars in frustration, demanding his victim's full attention. He swings his weapon, telling Suwoo to beg for his life. But Suwoo dodges, grabbing his makeshift weapon from the bin. Namjoon freezes in disbelief, stunned by the sudden turn of events. Suwoo reveals a hidden ability. He can weaponize any long object. He easily parries the attack, the tables suddenly turned. Holding a glowing frying pan, he declares the fight is now fair. Okay, that's a new one. Namjoon's crew can only stare, completely dumbfounded by the scene. Namjoon stares in disbelief at Suwoo's choice of weapon. But it's not a frying pan. It's a very used plunger. Truly, a weapon of mass disgust. Suwoo, however, is completely serious. Namjoon is left utterly speechless by the sight. But then he notices a familiar logo on the handle. A sudden, terrible realization dawns on him. He knows that logo. They're in the hotel district. His friends, however, just see a kid with a plunger and burst out laughing. Namjoon screams that there's no way he can win, but Suwoo's expression remains cold and unreadable. Suwoo's mind flashes to the reward Hyunjin promised him. He channels that motivation, his body erupting with power. His eyes glow with a fiery, almost unhinged determination. He declares he won't lose, swinging his legendary plunger. But Namjoon suddenly recognizes the aura surrounding him. It's the same intense energy Suwoo used in the final match. With a mighty roar, Suwoo charges forward with his weapon of choice. Namjoon steals himself, refusing to be defeated a second time. The two trade insults ready for their final showdown, and their weapons clash in the middle of the dark alley. Namjoon snarls, refusing to be intimidated by a mere plunger. He brings his sword down with a powerful smash, but the plunger lands a rather unsanitary counterattack. His friends join the fray, mocking Suwoo's stubborn refusal to fall. Namjoon taunts him, insisting he can't win with such a weapon. But Suwoo manages to break free from his grasp. He even trips one of the thugs in the chaos. Wounded Suwoo demands they fight with some semblance of honor, but Namjung just scoffs at the very idea of rules. He declares this is a fight to the death to defend his pride. Namjung grabs Suwoo by the hair, still furious about the final match. He slams a heavy fist into Suwoo's back. Suwoo collapses and Namjung calls him pathetic for even trying. He tells his friends to take a picture, ending the fight. But Suwoo's hand finds the handle of his plunger. He forces himself to stand, insisting he's not done yet. He declares there's no way he's going to lose. Namjung turns back, a flicker of disbelief in his eyes. And the narrator assures us this flashback is about to connect to the main story. The scene shifts to a different student, looking dejected in the school hallway. A friend tries to drag the distraught student along, telling him to fix his posture. Yunho sighs, reminding him that he warned him this girl was no good. The captain desperately clings to his friend, begging for the comfort of his abs. A teammate walks in, asking if Yunho is causing trouble for their captain. Yunho plays it cool, reminding the student to call him vice captain. He then questions the large mat the student is carrying. The student's eye reflects a perfect six-pack as he's told to hurry to class. But the sight triggers something in the captain, who lunges with a primal urge to destroy all abs. Yunho struggles to restrain him as they collide with another student in the hall. She tumbles to the ground, her books scattering, including one titled Abs Collector. The girl's collection is surprisingly specific, and Suwoo's face contorts in pure, unadulterated rage. He promptly throws the entire collection out the window. Problem solved. Later that day, the sun sets on a quiet neighborhood. A defeated Suwoo returns home from school. He brushes past a family member, claiming he's not feeling well. She can only watch with concern as he heads straight for his room. The door slams shut, leaving a heavy silence in the house. He leans against the door, the weight of the day pressing down on him. Alone in his room, he reflects on his great, terrible secret. He admits that for him, this was a massive problem. Just as he was about to give up, a fateful call came through. It's Yunho, asking why he left school without him. His friend explains he sorted things out with the principal. He tells Suwoo not to overdo it, especially after what happened with Hyunjin. Suwoo reassures him, his eyes fixed on a poster of a perfectly sculpted man. He promises everything will be fine soon, his grip tightening on a small blade. A look of pure determination crosses his face as he raises the cutter. He declares he won't be outdone by some fictional character with perfect abs. Yunho sighs on the other end, suggesting his friend might need anger management. Seems like a recurring theme. Suwoo furiously stabs at the poster, while Yunho calmly offers his support. But Suwoo's rage quickly turns into a demand for better protein powder. He complains that the last batch was a complete failure in his quest for ABC. He pauses his rant, noticing his friend has gone silent on the other end. Yunho seems to be weighing his words carefully. He asks Suwoo to meet him later, promising something important. Later that evening, the city lights flicker on. But by 7:30, Suwoo's patience is wearing dangerously thin. His pre-meeting protein shake binge isn't helping his mood either. Yunho finally arrives, apologizing for the delay as Suwoo silently seethes. Suwoo impatiently cuts him off, demanding he get to the point. Yunho offers to treat him inside, but Suwoo just wants this over with. As Yunho begins to apologize, Suwoo's stomach loudly protests. Those protein shakes are staging a coup. But then Yunho starts crying, leaving Suwoo utterly confused. His friend continues his tearful apology, but Suwoo has reached his limit. He makes a desperate run for it, leaving Yunho calling after him. Suwoo's mind is consumed by one singular urgent mission. And then he spots it across the street, a beacon of hope. A look of pure, unadulterated joy spreads across his face. He runs into the street, right into the path of an oncoming truck. Yunho calls out, trying to stop his friend's desperate escape. But his eyes widen in horror as he sees the danger. He screams his friend's name, reaching out in vain. And so, our hero's epic journey began, by getting hit by a truck while looking for a toilet. He admits it sounds ridiculous, but that's his origin story. He woke up under an alien sky, in a world he didn't recognize. Surrounded by a strange golden energy, he questions his new reality, and he's greeted by some very curious locals. He takes a moment to process everything, and opens his eyes to a brand new life. He sits up in a shallow pool of golden light, greeted by strange creatures. The sky above is alien, a shattered world hanging in the distance. He can only stare in utter confusion. Trying to recall the moments that led him here, his mind flashes back to Yunho's desperate calls. His friend had been trying to apologize, but Suwoo's stomach had other plans. Then, a look of pure terror filled Yunho's eyes. He screamed his friend's name, reaching out in vain. The memory returns to Suwoo with horrifying clarity, the final jarring impact of the truck. He stands alone in a strange, silent world, calling out for his friend. His voice echoes into the emptiness, a desperate plea for anyone to answer. He admits he's completely lost and terrified. He collapses, wondering if this is the afterlife. A truly undignified end for our hero. But a sudden sound cuts through the silence. He's thrown off his feet, completely disoriented. He lands hard, demanding to know where this place is, and a strange glowing screen appears before him. It greets him by name, welcoming him as the main character. The system offers him a reward for his successful isekai. But Suwoo argues he's not main character material. Apparently, blondes don't have more fun here. The system initiates a tutorial, challenging him to prove his worth. He turns just in time to see a massive beast lunging for him. The monster slams into him, sending him flying. He scrambles back, demanding to know what's happening. But the beast only growls, preparing for another attack. It charges forward with terrifying speed, leaping into the air with a ferocious roar, and tackles him to the ground, its jaws snapping. But the beast was just the beginning. A whole pack appears. Suwoo realizes he's hopelessly outnumbered. He grabs a flimsy stick, knowing he can't just be monster food. He puts on a brave face, taunting the creatures. A golden aura surrounds him as he warns them to run. His eyes glow with a sudden, fierce determination. He throws the stick, hoping for a distraction. Classic fetch maneuver. But the monsters don't fall for it, and he's forced to flee. His desperate escape is cut short as he trips on a rock, and his confidence shatters in an instant. His escape takes a rather dramatic turn as he tumbles off a cliff. He screams, reaching out as he plummets towards the ground below, and lands with a painful crash in the water. He surfaces, wondering where that conveniently placed cliff even came from. But he realizes the monsters haven't followed him down. He taunts them from below, calling them cowards for not pursuing. As he breathes a sigh of relief, a system window appears. It congratulates him for passing the tutorial, with a hint of sarcasm. Suwoo explodes, furious that the tutorial was just him running for his life. The system, not appreciating his tone, decides he'll proceed without a weapon. Suwoo glares, demanding to know what's next. But the ground rumbles as massive tentacles erupt from the water. He immediately tries to take it all back, begging the system for help. The system's response is less than helpful. A massive squid-like creature emerges, and his pleas grow more desperate. But his negotiations are cut short as a tentacle wraps around him. He's lifted into the air by the monstrous beast, and slammed back down into the ground with brutal force. He can't believe he survived the impact, insisting this isn't funny. But before he can recover, another tentacle grabs his leg. The creature pins him down, its glowing eyes fixed on him. He's sent flying through the air with a terrified scream. The creature flings him across the desolate landscape. He lands hard, immediately begging the system for forgiveness. The system takes a moment to consider his very sincere apology, and with a cheerful pop-up, it decides to grant his request. Suwoo's eyes lock onto the new window that appears. But his weapon choices are less than legendary. Realizing he has no other option, he prepares to make a choice. But the monster isn't waiting for him to gear up. A tentacle grabs him again, pulling him away from his only hope. He screams at the system, demanding his weapon, but the selection screen is just out of his reach. The monster watches him with a cold, unblinking eye. He's dragged away just as he's about to make his choice. The creature restrains him, and his panic intensifies. But the monster seems confused by a strange, glowing object. Suwoo is horrified, realizing his situation is getting very weird. He quickly tries to de-escalate, but the beast isn't listening. He struggles desperately, calling out for anyone to save him. And then, a glowing hand touches the tentacle. The tentacle is severed, sending Suwoo flying through the air. His face is a mask of pure, unadulterated confusion, and he lands with a splash in front of a mysterious woman. He wonders how he's still alive after that fall. Our boy is getting good at falling. She tells him he's the character she's been assigned to. Suwoo can only stare, dripping wet and completely lost. She introduces herself as Jenna, his guide in this new world, and she formally welcomes him by his full name. He looks up, finally getting some answers. She welcomes him to Dionysia, the world of the webcomic. She explains her purpose is to guide him on his quest for S-rank abs. Suwoo can only stare, trying to process this new reality. He demands to know what S-rank abs even means. Jenna shows him a hologram of a perfectly sculpted man, and Suwoo's face contorts in rage, recognizing his fitness rival. He still doesn't understand how abs can grant him his wishes. He wonders if abs are some kind of currency here. A truly baffling economic system. Jenna decides it's better to show him, but Suwoo is immediately suspicious. He refuses, confident he can figure this world out by himself. But a sudden deafening roar cuts his confidence short. Suwoo quickly changes his tune, calling for her to wait. Day turns into a long night as their journey continues. He struggles to keep up, asking how much further they have to go. His patience wears thin as she keeps giving him the same vague answer. She finally points to a massive gate, the entrance to the first district. A renewed sense of purpose fills him as they approach their destination. The heavy doors slam shut behind them with a resounding thud. But the long walk has clearly taken its toll on our hero. Jenna calls him a wimp, but he insists he's just running on empty. He finally catches his breath, taking in his new surroundings. Suwoo thought he'd finally reached a safe haven, but the streets are filled with the poor and forgotten, and violence seems to be a common sight. He realizes this place is no better than the wasteland. Jenna explains this is the Others district, the lowest rung of society. She begins to explain how this world works through quests assigned by an author. Some quests are as simple as buying groceries, while others might involve a little light thievery. So much for being the good guys. Every action is recorded by a magical camera and sent back to the author for their story. Completing these quests grants characters power, money, and stat boosts. Suwoo questions why so many people are poor if quests are so easy. Jenna reminds him that as a reader, he should already know. She points to massive billboards showcasing the world's top characters. She explains that popular genres like romance and action get the most attention. This means their characters get the best quests and rewards, while those from unpopular or canceled stories are left with nothing. Suwoo realizes he could easily end up homeless if he fails. He demands to know how this connects to his quest for ABC. Jenna tells him to follow her, promising more answers. She leads him to a building called Comedy Inc. Nothing ominous about a giant clown face. Inside, a man in clown makeup sits at his desk. Suwoo slams his hands down, demanding answers. The man's assistant calmly serves him a cup of tea. She watches as he stirs the cup with a thoughtful expression. But Suwoo's patience is clearly wearing thin. The clown takes a long, slow sip from the cup. While Suwoo watches, his irritation growing, the man then calls for his assistant, Ms. Giggles. He complains she forgot the water, and Suwoo realizes the cup was empty the whole time. He explodes, shouting that he needs quests to escape this world, not bad improv comedy. The clown introduces himself, welcoming Suwoo to Comedy Inc., but Suwoo cuts him off, demanding to know how he can escape this world. Clownface tries to reminisce about Jenna, but Suwoo has no time for it. He's handed a pamphlet that promises to explain everything. It's the script for a new webcomic, Leveling Up My Isekai'd Abs. Suwoo stares, realizing he's meant to be the star of this story, but his eyes widen when he sees his best friend Yoonho's name on the cover. Clownface just smirks, confirming Suwoo is completely in the dark. And then he sprays Suwoo with a prank can of water, because of course he does. Suwoo finally snaps, screaming that the man has a sick sense of humor. He lectures the clown on the finer points of comedy. Now soaked, he demands a change of clothes. But his shouting has woken someone up. A familiar voice asks him to keep it down. The newcomer's eyes narrow in irritation. He complains about being woken up during their sleepover, and Suwoo realizes he's holding his best friend, Yoonho. His mind completely short-circuits at the sight. Well, this is an awkward reunion. Clownface bursts out laughing at Suwoo's panicked expression. He then casually asks how they feel about their second chance at life. Suwoo struggles to accept the reality of their deaths, but Clownface calmly offers him a recording of his final moments. He hands over the device, promising it holds all the answers. Suwoo steps out onto a balcony to watch it alone. He stands in the quiet night, bracing himself for the truth. The strange, beautiful world around him fades into the background. His expression hardens as he prepares to press play, and the footage reveals a shocking betrayal from his best friend. So much for bros before protein woes. A vein throbs on his temple as the truth sinks in, and he lets out a scream of pure, unadulterated fury. Suwoo screams, unable to comprehend his friend's betrayal. He trusted Yoonho more than anyone in the world, but a voice cuts through his dramatic monologue. Yoonho lifts his shirt, reminding him he's right there, and Suwoo tells him to shut up. His friend apologizes, insisting he never meant to cause him harm. He just wanted Suwoo to find someone who loved him for who he was, abs or not. A surprisingly wholesome motive for vehicular manslaughter, but the heavy conversation is cut short by a massive yawn. Yoonho suggests they talk it over in the morning, leaving Suwoo alone with his thoughts. The next day, the sun rises over the bizarre headquarters of Comedy Inc., and Clownface greets the new day with a celebratory toot. Clownface gives Suwoo a very rude awakening. He offers a full-service morning routine, but Suwoo is not impressed. The kid stretches, asking for a little slack on his first day. But Clownface insists there's no time to waste. Suwoo reluctantly agrees to a shower, but not without a stern warning. The door slams shut, leaving Clownface alone. He sips his imaginary tea with a knowing smirk. This guy is definitely a professional troll. But Suwoo storms back out, furious about his permanent, unflattering accessory. Clownface's tone shifts, explaining this is his new reality, dictated by the author. Suwoo demands to know how reaching S rank will fix any of this. Clownface sighs, blaming Jenna for her poor explanation. He beckons Suwoo to the window to show him the truth of this world. He explains that outside this district, the powerful can have anything they desire. Once you reach S rank, even the wildest dreams can become reality. Suwoo realizes this is his ticket home, a way to finally escape Yoonho. He recalls Jenna's words about quests and eagerly asks how to begin. Clownface mockingly hands him a device, telling him to attach it to his belt. Later, Suwoo and Jenna wait in a town square, his patience already wearing thin. She tells him to be patient, but he demands to know what they're waiting for. She explains he'll need a mount for his first quest, and Suwoo questions why they can't just teleport. She explains their company is too broke for teleportation, but Clownface has offered his finest asset. Suwoo's imagination runs wild with visions of a majestic ride, but his grand entrance is replaced by a very smug-looking ferret. She introduces his new mount, a giant ferret known for its remarkable speed. Suwoo is less than thrilled, but she reminds him of the alternative. He quickly reconsiders, deciding the ferret isn't so bad after all. Their journey takes them out of the district and into the wastelands. He speeds through the desolate landscape on his surprisingly fast mount. A look of determination settles on his face as he rides. Jenna explains he can use a quest tracker to navigate this new world. The tracker stops, indicating they've arrived at the quest location. He turns to Jenna, surprised she's still attached to his belt. But as he argues with his guide, small green creatures watch from the trees. He ignores her apologies, completely unaware of the approaching danger. The goblins prepare their ambush from a nearby cliff. An arrow flies through the air, aimed right for our hero, but it misses, embedding itself in a tree just inches from his head. 2 more goblins leap down, ready to finish the job. He effortlessly dodges and counters, sending one flying with a single punch. And with a confident smirk, he disarms the other, taking its weapon for himself. He swings the makeshift club with surprising force. The attack sends the goblins flying in every direction. He explains his kendo training gives him an edge, accessing a weapon menu, and from the system, he summons a familiar blade. His hand closes around the hilt of his new sword. He dashes forward, a blur of motion across the dirt path. His body moves with practiced, deadly grace, and he cuts through the remaining monsters with ease. But more goblins appear on the cliffs, ready to attack. He calmly deflects their projectiles, completely unfazed. He moves with a newfound confidence, easily shattering the goblin's crude weapon. A swift kick sends the creature flying, and he hurls his sword with deadly accuracy, pinning the final monster to a tree. He dusts off his hands, the quest already complete. The rewards are immediate, a massive level jump and 2 new skills. He can already feel the difference, a surge of power from the system. He thought he'd already reached his physical peak back home, but now he realizes his potential is limitless, and with his victory, a new list of quests appears. His guide advises him to take the easier path first, but Suwoo ignores her, choosing the hardest quest available. Someone's feeling a little overconfident. The system confirms his high-risk, high-reward mission. He looks up, spotting his targets on a nearby cliff. It's the same pack of wolves from his disastrous tutorial. The beasts leap down, ready for round 2. But this time, Suwoo is armed and ready for them. He meets their charge with a swift slash of his blade and unleashes a flurry of powerful attacks. He unleashes a new skill, a powerful wind blade. But another wolf lunges, catching him by surprise. He reacts just in time, piercing its skull with a clean strike. He admits they're much faster than he remembers from the tutorial. He follows up with a devastating tornado slash, wiping out the rest of the pack in an instant. But the final wolf seems different, more powerful than the others. Its eyes glow with a menacing, fiery energy. Suwoo realizes this must be the leader of the pack, and it lets out a deafening howl, ready for a real fight. The wolf's snarl intensifies, its features twisting with rage. It transforms into a massive bipedal beast. The system identifies it as Bardal the Were-Dog, a level 15 boss. Suwoo realizes this was not in the quest's fine print. The Were-Dog lets out a deafening roar, ready to attack. He's frozen in place as Jenna screams a warning. The beast lunges forward with incredible speed, but it leaps right over him, aiming for a different target. His giant ferret mount is caught completely off guard, and the Were-Dog sinks its teeth into the poor creature's shoulder. Suwoo can only watch in stunned silence. The aftermath of the brutal attack is clear. The Were-Dog finishes its meal, leaving Suwoo paralyzed. It swallows, its hunger seemingly satisfied for a moment, but its gaze quickly turns to its next target. Jenna's voice screams at him to snap out of it. The fear in his eyes is palpable as he realizes the danger. The beast charges forward, ready to finish the fight. It swings a massive claw, aiming to tear him apart. But Suwoo dodges just in time, the attack missing by inches. He leaps back with surprising agility. Jenna wonders if she was the one who moved him. She questions if she can control Suwoo's body. The system confirms her new parasite ability. Well, that's one way to describe a guide. The beast smashes the ground where he just stood. It roars and charges forward again, a blur of red fury. Jenna realizes another attack is coming fast, but she takes control, landing a powerful kick. The massive beast is sent flying backward. She tells a panicked Suwoo to help her out, as she's still new to this. She grits her teeth, frustrated that Suwoo is still frozen in fear. It's taking all her strength just to fight his body's instincts. She desperately asks the system if they can just cancel the quest. The system cheerfully explains that canceling comes with a hefty penalty. Unfortunately, they're too broke to afford the cancellation fee. Their only options are to fight, run, or be destroyed by the beast. She asks Suwoo if he understood their grim set of choices. She tries to reassure him, promising she's there to help him through this. She reminds him they've already died once, so there's nothing left to fear. Now that's what I call a motivational speech. Her words seem to sink in, a slow realization dawning on him. He thinks back to his old life, admitting he was a reckless fool. He never worried about consequences, knowing Yoonho would always be there. He grew too dependent on his friend's unwavering support, so when he learned of the betrayal, he felt completely alone. But he realizes that's not the case anymore. Jenna's voice cuts through, telling him to focus his anger on the beast. She screams his name, trying to break through his fear. He notes that this is the first time she's ever yelled so much. He gets to his feet, his very vocal fashion accessory urging him on, and raises his hand, a new resolve in his eyes. His sword falls, embedding itself in the ground. But he summons it back to his hand, telling his very distracting abs to stay quiet. He declares he's just getting started. The were-dog summons a massive, flaming axe. It swings the weapon with incredible force, a wall of fire hurtling towards Suwoo. But Suwoo meets the attack head-on. He unleashes his own skills, a whirlwind of slashes. He struggles against the beast's power, and Jenna suggests a little shopping spree. He agrees, realizing he needs an upgrade to win this fight. A system window appears, offering to enhance his weapon for a price. He unleashes his tornado slash with newfound power, meeting the were-dog's attack in a fiery explosion. But the force of the blast sends him flying backward. He lands hard, defeated, as the beast looms over him. The were-dog now wields a massive, glowing greatsword. Suwoo questions how he lost, but his abs offer some tactical advice. Jenna explains that wind doesn't extinguish fire, it fuels it. His wind-based attacks only made the beast's fire stronger. She asks the system for a shield, but the only option might melt. Suwoo agrees to buy them some time, asking what she has in mind. She grins, revealing a plan to make some were-dog barbecue. He summons the shield, his expression hardening with resolve. Hoping the plan works, he charges forward into the fray. The were-dog meets his charge with a massive swing of its fiery weapon. He raises the shield just in time, blocking the devastating blow. But the shield cracks under the intense heat, burning his hand. He reaches out his free hand, putting all his faith in Jenna's plan. And a new, powerful sword materializes from the ground. The new blade slams into the earth with a powerful thud. Suwoo lunges forward with a piercing strike, and the sword finds its mark right through the beast's jaw. The were-dog collapses, finally defeated. Suwoo stands over his fallen foe, a new sword in hand. He wipes his brow, relieved, as his abs take all the credit. Of course they do. He's already thinking about the next fight, ready for more power. But his body quickly reminds him he's running on fumes, and he collapses, completely spent from the battle. The system confirms his victory with a massive reward. He wakes up back at the unsettling headquarters of Comedy Inc., his eyes slowly open, his body aching from the fight. He sits up, covered in bandages and completely disoriented. He remembers defeating the were-dog and checks his status. The quest has boosted him to level 11, a reward for a very unfair fight. He complains to his sentient abs that they barely survived, and he takes out his frustration on the uncooperative stomach blob. But his one-sided argument is interrupted by a visitor. It's Ms. Giggles, the clown's assistant, checking in on him. She offers him a tray of food to help him regain his strength. He gratefully accepts the meal, his spirits lifting. He asks how he got back, and she explains her dramatic rescue. She explains the blimp is for emergencies, not for regular members. She tells him to rest up, reminding him he's one of them now. He complains that this new life is just as tedious as his old one. His abs tell him to check his inventory for any loot, and he finds a rare item dropped by the were-dog. A golden tooth worth a surprising amount of money. The item materializes in the palm of his hand. He's ready to sell it, but his abs seem oddly interested. The golden tooth begins to crackle with a strange energy. He shouts in panic as the item vanishes from his hand. The blob insists it was an accident, but Suwoo isn't buying it. Their argument is interrupted by Ms. Giggles in the doorway. Suddenly, a flash of golden light fills the room. His sword transforms, upgraded to a much more substantial size. A wicked grin spreads across his face as he feels the new power. He turns back to Ms. Giggles, completely forgetting his anger. He runs to find Jenna, eager to show off his new toy. But his excitement fades as he apologizes for losing their mount. Jenna clarifies she's not an ally, just an enforcer for the author. She calls his performance pathetic, mocking him for freezing in fear. She warns that at this rate, he'll be canceled before he ever reaches S rank. Her harsh words seem to hit the sentient stomach blob the hardest. Lying in bed, Suwoo reflects on her brutal honesty. He wonders if he's really been overestimating his own abilities. His abs confirm his ego is out of control. Nothing like a gut check from your actual gut. But the blob admits it understands his recklessness, sharing his desperation. It asks him to be more careful since they're stuck in this together. Their journey continues, leading them to a quaint European-style village. Suwoo steels himself, ready to grind through some side quests. His first mission is a simple one: find a lost cat. He finds the quest giver, a young boy crying his eyes out. Suwoo comforts the child, promising to bring his pet home. He gives a confident thumbs up, ready for an easy win. He begins his search in a nearby forest, and quickly spots what he assumes is the missing animal. But this is no ordinary house cat. The beast lunges, ready to attack. But the mission is a success, even if Suwoo took a serious beating. The system confirms his success, granting him a small reward. His next quest is a little more peaceful. Meditate in the park. He finds the park's fountain, which is unsettlingly familiar. Exhausted from his last fight, he prepares for the task. He sits down and begins to focus his mind. 5 minutes pass in quiet contemplation. But when he opens his eyes, he finds his shoes filled with donations. The system rewards him for his successful begging. He moves on to other quests, like stealing a witch's lower half, and even tries his hand at cooking, a determined grin on his face. But his cooking quest immediately goes up in flames. He desperately tries to salvage his creation. The final result is a pan of something completely inedible. Later, he brings a peace offering to Clownface's office. The clown accepts the meal, noting Suwoo's new focus on side quests. Suwoo explains it's a thank you for the team's hospitality. He admits he's starting to feel like he belongs here. He confidently declares his plan to grind his way to the top. But after Suwoo leaves, the clown's expression grows serious. His gaze falls upon a strange, glowing artifact on his desk. His expression is uncharacteristically serious, lost in thought. But a sudden phone call breaks the silence. He answers, recognizing the voice on the other end. He admits Suwoo's progress has been slow, but tells the caller not to worry. He promises that the main story quest is just around the corner. Meanwhile, back at the bizarre headquarters of Comedy Inc., Suwoo is pushing himself through a grueling workout. He's determined to get stronger no matter the cost. But his sentient stomach has a slightly different training regimen in mind. He does push-ups while his abs get a snack. Now that's what I call multitasking. The sentient stomach happily chows down on a meal, while Suwoo struggles to finish his set of push-ups. The bizarre quest finally ends, and he complains about the author's strange sense of humor. He collapses, asking about their progress, but his abs explain they've hit a wall. All the side quests are gone, and the main story quest is far too dangerous. But Clownface appears from above, offering a solution. He asks if they're ready for the next canon quest. Suwoo leaps up, arguing they're only level 15. A Wokemon reference? Our author is truly a person of culture. Clownface tells him to calm down, promising to explain everything. He reveals the next mission is a team quest with other members of Comedy Inc. He explains they'll meet their new teammate at the local circus, and he even springs for VIP tickets to the show. They take their seats inside the massive clown-themed arena. Suwoo asks about the apprentice, but Clownface tells him to just enjoy the show. The lights dim as a single spotlight hits the center of the stage. A sudden explosion of fire erupts from the darkness, and a young woman in a school uniform emerges from the flames. The crowd watches, completely captivated by the spectacle. But Suwoo is unimpressed, noting the were-dog had the same power. Tough crowd. The magician continues her performance, manipulating a massive fireball. She calls forth a massive spirit of fire, but she's not done summoning a second spirit of ice. A majestic bird of frost answers her call. Suwoo is stunned, but Clownface explains some people are just built different. The two elemental birds dance in the air, swirling together in a dazzling display. They erupt into a brilliant fireworks show for the finale. Even Suwoo is impressed, his sentient stomach equally captivated. After the performance, they head backstage to meet the magician. She asks Clownface for his opinion, and he praises her flawless show. Clownface formally introduces Suwoo to their new teammate. She introduces herself as Maya, a powerful elementalist who's heard all about his unique anatomy. She's even more excited to meet Yunho, the sentient stomach blob. This is a very strange meet and greet, but their introductions are cut short by a frantic Ms. Giggles. It seems the main course for the company banquet has escaped. The team watches as the massive beast, a level 25 heavenly boar, tears through the grounds, and it's heading straight for them with a furious charge. Clownface and Maya immediately cower behind Suwoo, who questions why the two higher-level players are hiding. But before the beast can reach them, a new figure intercepts the attack. Clownface introduces him as Roman, another member of their questing party. Looks like the team is finally assembled. Roman declares this is his responsibility, his job to tame the circus monsters. But the beast doesn't seem to appreciate being called a circus animal. Roman apologizes in advance, promising to take full responsibility for what's next. His eyes glow with a strange energy as he tightens his grip, and with a mighty heave, he sends the massive boar flying into the sky. He explains he has a soft spot for cute things, so he just sent it home, Suwoo is understandably confused. Clownface formally introduces Roman to his new teammates, Suwoo and Yunho. The level 30 brawler humbly accepts the compliment. Clownface invites him to meet another member, but Roman politely declines, citing a date. His date takes him to a quiet house on a hill under the stars. Clownface leads Suwoo into an exclusive lounge for top members. He tells Suwoo this is where the real business happens. A powerful-looking figure waits for them at the bar. Clownface introduces them to the final member of their team. The man, Xavier, is an A-rank player at level 45. Suwoo is immediately intimidated by his sheer presence, and probably his abs. With the team assembled, Clownface begins the mission briefing. He explains the quest requires a mix of high and low-level players. Their mission is tied to an annual tournament that determines the district's hierarchy, and this year's preliminary round involves rescuing a powerful S-ranker from a maze. Xavier questions which S-ranker would ever agree to this ridiculous mission. Clownface reveals their target is the legendary romance king Lee Jinho. The name sends a jolt of pure shock through Suwoo and his sentient stomach. Yunho struggles to remember where he's heard that name before. A flashback reveals the truth. Lee Jinho was the cause of Suwoo's last breakup. He'd sworn a very specific, very weird oath of vengeance against the fictional character. Suwoo's eyes burn with a familiar rage as he realizes his mortal enemy is real. Their mission will take them far into the treacherous Wind Peak Mountains. Ms. Giggles sees them off, wishing them luck from the company blimp. But on the ground, Roman is already annoyed to be working with a bunch of kids. His teammates note Suwoo's surprising motivation for this quest. He cracks his knuckles, eager to finally meet his rival. Maya seems to misinterpret his enthusiasm entirely. Her imagination runs wild as a new angelic figure arrives. The woman announces the quest is about to begin, and with a snap of her fingers, a 2-minute countdown appears before them. She explains a magical seal will break when the time is up. Their mission is to navigate a dangerous maze to find Lee Jinho, and their second equally important goal is to survive. The angelic guide explains the competition is unusually tough this year. The rival companies have sent their top players, a fact Roman seems to expect. She describes their opponents as powerful A and B rankers, the best of the best. Suwoo tries to rally the team, but Maya is already convinced they're doomed. A sudden doubt crosses his mind as he questions their company's reputation. She suggests he ask the veterans about last year's disastrous performance. He turns to his senior teammates for confirmation. Another teammate gives a passionate speech about friendship before admitting he just wants to level up. Suwoo grabs him by the collar, telling him to stop being so pessimistic. He insists they've overcome impossible odds before and will do it again. He promises they'll clear this quest and finally escape this world. His words seem to inspire his pessimistic teammate, and the rest of the team rallies behind his sudden confidence. The final seconds tick away, and the countdown hits 0. The angelic guide wishes them luck as the quest begins. The system officially announces their high-stakes mission. A magical seal shatters, revealing a dark entrance. The preliminaries for the others' district have officially begun. They step into the darkness of the maze. Maya summons a small flame to light their path forward. 30 minutes in, the cave feels ready to collapse. A light appears up ahead, a possible exit from the tunnel. But a small robot waddles out from the darkness. Roman recognizes it as a rival's device as it locks on. Before it can act, Xavier smashes it to pieces. He notes the other teams are already thinning the herd. But the broken parts begin to glow with a strange energy. He realizes it was a trap, a self-destruct sequence. The robot explodes in a blinding flash of light, and Xavier shields Maya from the force of the blast. Xavier warns that the cave is about to collapse. Suwoo unleashes a tornado slash to clear the way. He screams for his teammates to run for the exit. The team scrambles through the crumbling tunnel. They see the exit just ahead as the rumbling intensifies, and the entire passage collapses right behind them. They make it out, but Xavier warns of another threat. Suwoo's eyes widen as he senses a new presence. A massive electrified robot appears from the dust. It taunts them, declaring their little game is over. The robot declares their quest is already over. It powers up a massive electrical attack, and the team braces for the incoming blast. But Suwoo draws his sword, refusing to back down. Xavier screams for everyone to take cover. They shield themselves as a blinding light fills the cavern. But the expected impact never comes, leaving Suwoo confused. The robot reveals it was just a camera flash mocking their fear. Okay, this guy's a professional troll. It stomps forward, clearly enjoying the moment, and stares them down with an air of smug superiority. The pilot complains that the cramped space is making things difficult. Roman and another teammate look ready to throw hands. The pilot quickly backpedals, insisting his little prank was all in good fun. But Xavier is clearly not amused by the new arrival. The pilot introduces himself as Ayan, a level 50 A-ranker from a rival team. He stands atop his massive mech, looking down on them with disdain. He singles out Xavier, calling him the only one worth remembering from their joke of a company. Roman steps forward, demanding to know what he wants. Ayan casually dismisses his giant robot with a simple command. He explains he's here to win the tournament and wants some information. Ayan's gaze narrows with a predatory focus. He suddenly grabs Suwoo, pulling him close. Xavier warns his teammates to back down, knowing Ayan's true power. The pilot seems disappointed his exploding penguin prank wasn't appreciated. Suwoo calmly reveals his own explosive countermeasure, tiny beetles. This tournament's weapon regulations seem a little lax. Ayan turns to Xavier, demanding intel on the other teams, but Xavier suggests he take his questions elsewhere. Ayan admits his original plan failed, leaving him alone and vulnerable, but he insists he's more than capable of handling them without his mech. As Suwoo's anger boils over, Xavier calmly accepts the deal. Roman questions Xavier's deal with their enemy. Ayan gets in his face, mocking his low rank. Xavier agrees to share intel if Ayan leaves them alone. He begins to break down their 6 main rival companies. First is the Mystery Clique, a team of stealthy assassins. Next is the Drama Club, who summon creatures from emotions. Then there's the deceptively normal Norman from the Slice of Life team, and the immortal H-King, who gets stronger from being hit. The favorites are a hero and villain duo with legendary teamwork. Ayan snaps at Suwoo for his constant commentary while he takes notes. Xavier admits he knows nothing about the final team, the Horror Circle. He warns them of powerful S-rank monsters roaming the maze. He suggests they avoid fighting each other, but knows it's inevitable. Ayan sighs, feigning sympathy for their predicament. A true master of sincerity. He decides to leave, summoning a futuristic bike from a small device. He explains he got what he wanted and leaves them with a parting gift. He speeds off, summoning a massive robot to play with them. A teammate screams a warning as the robot looms over Suwoo. Its massive fist comes crashing down with incredible force. As Xavier realizes they've been betrayed, Maya summons a Firebird to help. The Firebird slams into the robot's massive fist, but Suwoo feels his consciousness fading, regretting their trust in Ayan. He collapses amidst the rubble, completely overwhelmed. He wakes to the sight of 2 shadowy figures looming over him. The cave around him is now lit by flickering torches. A voice calls out, asking how long he plans to sleep. His eyes snap open as he's told he's been out for hours. A woman in a bunny suit looks down, disgusted by his weakness. Well, this is a weird rescue party. Another strange figure joins her, staring down at the fallen hero. Nearby, the remains of Ayan's robot lie sparking and defeated. His teammates catch their breath, cursing Ayan for his betrayal. Maya searches the rubble but finds no sign of Suwoo. She finds only a splash of blood on the cavern floor. She concludes Suwoo must have been severely injured in the attack. The blood trail stops abruptly, suggesting he was taken. The memory of the robot's devastating punch hangs in the air. Xavier blames himself for trusting their manipulative rival, but his teammate insists he made the right call in a bad situation. With renewed resolve, they decide to venture deeper to find him. The scene shifts to a flashback, 1 year in the past, revealing a mysterious love letter. Yunho warns him it's probably a prank, insisting he has no time for a girlfriend. But Suwoo strikes a dramatic pose, unable to break a young maiden's heart. His friend is understandably disgusted. He boasts about being the total package, a truly humble individual. He insists that if the letter is real, it's only polite to meet the sender. He promises Yunho he won't accept, then heads out to meet his secret admirer. He finds her waiting for him in the schoolyard after class. The pink-haired girl confesses she's been in love with him since the start of the year. Suwoo tells her he understands, but that her request is too big. Too big of a decision to make so suddenly, suggesting they go on a date first. She agrees with a sly, knowing smile. Something tells me this isn't your average high school romance. She tells Suwoo she's looking forward to getting to know him. The memory fades, and he finds himself face-to-face with his ex, Hyunjin. She mocks him for being so easily defeated, her status revealing her new role. His sentient stomach fires back, but she insists she prefers her new life. Suwoo's eyes narrow, asking if she has no intention of returning home. She admits this world has one major perk. Her idol, Lee Jinho, is here. The name makes Suwoo's blood boil as he remembers his rival all too well. Her teammate, a masked woman, wonders why Suwoo is still conscious. The B-ranker scolds Hyunjin for failing to complete her simple task. Hyunjin claims she was just toying with him, before admitting she still finds him attractive. Well, that's one way to complicate a kidnapping. She taunts her partner, ready to reveal the physique Suwoo has tried so hard to hide, but it's not a six-pack that greets them. It's Yunho's face. And the two women can only scream in pure, unadulterated horror. Yunho unleashes a new skill, breathing a stream of fire. The flames burn through the ropes, freeing Suwoo in an instant. He lands, and Yunho explains he must have absorbed the were-dog's power. Hyunjin lashes out with a whip, but Suwoo easily dodges the attack. Her masked teammate watches, noting his surprising energy. Suwoo grins, effortlessly weaving through the flurry of strikes. He assesses his opponents, and Yunho urges him to find the rest of their team. Suwoo makes a break for it, leaving a furious Hyunjin in his dust. He taunts her, vowing to steal her precious idol away from her. He spots the exit to the main cavern, knowing he has to regroup. But his escape is cut short by a massive object falling from the ceiling. It slams into the ground, blocking his path with a powerful impact. He's left wondering where the sudden attack even came from. A hooded figure appears, a B-rank Esper with a very questionable name. And he's not alone, as a massive figure appears right behind Suwoo. Even the masked woman is stunned by his speed, declaring Suwoo is cornered. Hyunjin tells him to give up, especially with their powerful leader now on the scene. The leader's eyes glow as he warns Suwoo not to move. Suwoo realizes he's facing 4 opponents at once. Hyunjin tells him to surrender and save himself the pain. But the masked woman has already made her move, sending red ribbons to bind Suwoo completely. He's trapped, unable to break free from her grasp. The A-rank leader looms over him, ready to end the fight. But his expression suddenly shifts to one of pure shock. He explains to his teammate that he was just trying to help Hyunjin. He quickly regains his composure with a smug grin. The leader seems completely baffled by Suwoo's outburst. His teammate asks about the unconscious man he's carrying. He tells her to watch over their captive while he steps out. She completely misinterprets his request, much to his annoyance. The leader apologizes for the misunderstanding and offers to free him. He leaps back as the ribbons fall away, freeing Suwoo. Suwoo demands to know their intentions, his sentient stomach adding to the intimidation. But the leader is completely captivated by his unique anatomy. Suwoo draws his sword, ready to defend himself. But his attack is stopped cold by the leader's single finger. Suwoo grits his teeth, putting all his strength into the attack. But he can only watch in disbelief as it's stopped by a single finger. The leader grins, impressed by his power. And then he offers Suwoo a job. He snaps his fingers, and his hooded subordinate begins a presentation. A screen appears, promising a fast track to success and early retirement. The pitch continues, offering fame and a modeling career. It even suggests he could become a popular live streamer. They claim to have an endless supply of quests, so he'll never be broke. The leader concludes, boasting that his is the most profitable company in the district. The leader eagerly awaits Suwoo's answer to his sales pitch. He even offers to partner him with Hyunjin, a truly terrible idea for everyone involved. Hyunjin immediately protests the insane suggestion, pointing to his sentient stomach as proof that he's a freak. Her masked teammate teases her, suggesting she still has feelings for him. But Suwoo ignores the drama, asking if he can really switch companies. The leader grins, revealing he's a former member of Comedy Inc. himself. His hooded subordinate adds that Suwoo's current company is failing. He warns that if Suwoo stays, he'll end up jobless and forgotten. He tries to get a response, but only the sentient stomach seems to be listening. The subordinate insists Comedy Inc. is a sinking ship, a place where no one can thrive. The leader asks for his final answer, but Suwoo has already made up his mind. He declares his loyalty to Comedy Inc., refusing to join their crappy company. The leader's smile widens into a predatory grin, finding his answer unfortunate. He declares that if Suwoo won't join them, he'll just have to die. But as he attacks, his hooded subordinate summons a washing machine. He lifts the heavy appliance with surprising ease and shoves it over Suwoo's head, trapping him in a very specific kind of prison. Suwoo panics while his sentient stomach calmly suggests using a skill to escape. A powerful blade erupts from the machine, spinning with deadly force. The blade slices clean through the metal prison. He tells his opponents to look away, a smirk on his face, and unleashes a massive sandstorm with his sword. The rival team is blinded by the sudden dirty tactic. But the leader appears from the dust, a wicked grin on his face. He grabs Suwoo by the head, stopping his escape. Suwoo struggles against his grip, calling him a monster. The leader lifts him effortlessly off the ground. He's completely overpowered by the A-ranker's strength. His vision blurs as he wonders if this is the end. But a blur of motion cuts through the chaos. A strange horse-like creature grabs his arm and slams into him with surprising force. Suwoo breaks free, ready to fight this new threat. He unleashes a powerful tornado slash, but the beast easily restrains him from behind. And it's revealed to be Xavier, here for a rescue. The rival leader watches, intrigued by the newcomer. He dashes forward with incredible speed. Xavier retreats with Suwoo, leaving the fight to his team. Roman cracks his knuckles, his eyes glowing with intensity. He lets out a roar, his power flaring around him. He lands a powerful blow right into the rival leader's gut. The force of the punch sends the massive man flying. Maya steps forward, declaring it's her turn to fight. Her eyes narrow with a cold, focused determination. She unleashes a wave of ice, trapping the leader in place. But he just laughs, completely unfazed by the attack. The masked woman orders her own team to get ready. Maya prepares for the next assault, wielding both fire and ice. Her elemental birds clash with the rival team's assault. The cavern erupts in a blast of ice and energy. But the rival leader shatters the ice completely unharmed. He decides not to pursue, acknowledging Xavier's transformation. He notes their growing strength, his status revealing a very unfortunate form name. Meanwhile, the team regroups, their location now hidden. Suwoo asks if the horse-like creature is Xavier's true form. Xavier explains it's a skill that lets him copy monsters he's met, but the drawback turns him into a grumpy puppy. He insists the form is useful, allowing him to track Ayan by scent. Suwoo tells the team to keep moving and find a cave to rest. Later that night, they gather around a crackling campfire. His teammates ask if the rival squad did anything strange to him. He explains they tried to drain his energy and recruit him. They also told him he'd never succeed with Comedy Inc. But Suwoo insists his team is far stronger than their rivals. He questions why everyone seems to underestimate them. Roman suggests they rest and tackle the maze in the morning. The team settles in for the night, but Roman stays awake on watch. Suwoo lies awake, his mind still racing from the day's events. Roman notices that Suwoo is still awake. The kid admits he can't seem to get any rest. He apologizes for the trouble, but Roman says the rival leader saw his potential. Roman admits he's the weakest A-ranker, a fact that hurts their reputation. Most of their former members either left for a better district or died trying. He explains Maya only stays out of a sense of duty to their leader, and the other teammate is only here to protect Maya. He admits he doesn't even know his own reason for staying. But Suwoo reminds him of the promise he made before the quest began. He declares they now have a common goal, to win this tournament together. He tells Roman to stop moping and start fighting. The veteran A-ranker considers the kid's words. A slow smile spreads across his face as he agrees. Suwoo lays out their plan to conquer the maze and win the tournament. His newfound resolve seems to have inspired the whole team. The next morning, they encounter a swarm of maze crawlers. Roman explains the creatures are perfectly adapted for cave combat. They're fast, strong, and can see in the dark. But he's confident the team can take them down. And his teammate proves it with a single explosive punch. Suwoo cuts through the monsters with a confident slash. His teammate unleashes his own power, a partial vine transformation. He easily restrains two of the creatures with his new limbs. Maya sees her opening, summoning a massive fireball. She unleashes the attack with a powerful shout. The flames completely engulf their helpless targets. The system confirms their victory, rewarding the whole team. And for the first time, they celebrate as a truly united party. Roman admits to himself that Suwoo was right all along. They finally reach the edge of a vast underground lake, the final area in sight. Maya realizes they're approaching the final area, expecting a tougher fight. Roman warns her to watch the water, sensing a presence lurking below. He explains this maze is rumored to be the nest of a legendary beast. According to lore, it has 4 offspring, and they might be near one now. Just then, something massive erupts from the water's surface. Roman shouts a warning, and Maya prepares to attack. She unleashes a powerful freezing spell, encasing the lake in ice. But a massive red serpent shatters the ice, a level 32 boss. Suwoo screams for the team to run for the other side of the lake. But as they flee, they realize Xavier isn't with them. The massive serpent closes in on Maya and Roman. It lunges forward with a ferocious roar, but Roman catches its jaws, holding the beast back. Xavier reappears, transforming into a flaming buck to help. Guess he's really embracing the whole Bambi's revenge aesthetic. He explains fire is its only weakness, urging the team to attack. Maya summons her Firebird, ready to unleash its power. But the flames do nothing, and Suwoo realizes his sword is useless. His sentient stomach tells him to keep running, revealing a new plan. His sword suddenly erupts in a torrent of fire. It transforms into a flaming axe, just like the one the were-dog used. He swings his new weapon with a powerful slash. The beast roars, clearly feeling the heat, but it retaliates with a cloud of purple mist. Roman and Maya are caught in the strange attack. Suwoo is engulfed as well, disappearing from sight. The team collapses, coughing from the strange gas. But Suwoo gets to his feet, taunting the beast. He correctly guesses its panic was a dead giveaway. His sword erupts into a massive column of fire, and he hurls it like a spear, aiming for a final blow. But the serpent unleashes one final, desperate blast. Suwoo pushes through the strange purple energy, leaping into the air with his flaming sword held high. He swings the weapon with a powerful, determined arc, and lands a devastating slash across the beast's neck. The massive serpent finally falls, defeated by the fiery assault. The system confirms their victory, and Suwoo levels up again. His teammates cheer, celebrating their hard-won battle. But the serpent's body begins to dissolve into a strange purple goo, and a man in a suit emerges from the remains. Well, that's one way to make an entrance. He introduces himself as Norman, an A-rank salaryman, thanking them for the save. The team can only stare, stunned by the sudden appearance of another A-ranker. He calmly reintroduces himself as Normal Norman from the Slice of Life team. He congratulates them for making it this far, wondering why they're so surprised. Suwoo demands to know what he was doing inside the giant serpent. Norman just scratches his head, admitting it's a long story. Apparently, getting eaten is just another day at the office. Meanwhile, another team approaches the final area, the Golden City of Aurora. A young boy named Brandon is fired up, ready to win the whole tournament. He boasts about being the mayor's son, but his teammate seems less than impressed. The kid gets defensive, vowing to win using his father's inventions. A teammate with a paper bag over his head tells Brandon to calm down, but Brandon clenches his fist, insisting he needs the experience. Norman scoffs at the kid's recklessness, remembering his own, much safer youth. He uses Paperhead as an example of maturity, who promptly flexes and reveals he's only 19. A giant teddy bear mascot then teases Norman about his age. Norman's patience is clearly wearing thin. The bear immediately backpedals, begging for forgiveness, but their argument is cut short by a massive angler beast. Norman stares, wondering why a deep-sea creature is here. He lands a solid punch, questioning what could have driven it from the depths. The creature slides forward, its eyes swirling in a daze, and it collapses at his feet, defeated in a single blow. His teammates cheer, stunned by his power, but Norman just complains about the slime. But their victory is short-lived as a whole school of them emerges from the water. The bear mascot, now a man, has lost his nerve and his puns without the costume. Norman pulls out a device, an emergency portal created by Brandon's father. But Brandon refuses to retreat, activating his own mechanical gear. Norman explains they're already cornered, as a much stronger monster lurks below. He activates the portal, their only escape, to the company's female toilet. A truly strategic exit. He drags the unconscious kid toward the exit, telling him to live to fight another day. Brandon asks Norman to stay on the team for another year. Norman reluctantly agrees, putting off his retirement for the kid. He complains about the cave and decides to head home, but as he steps toward the portal, he senses something is wrong. The emergency exit suddenly closes right in front of him and vanishes, leaving the team completely stunned. Norman realizes he let his guard down, now trapped in the goo. He decides to just take a nap, hoping to wake up on the other side. A truly professional response to being trapped. He finishes explaining his predicament to Suwoo's team, and with his story told, he prepares to leave them behind. He thanks them again, offering a feast if they ever visit his base. But Xavier questions how he'll find his way, and Norman pulls out his phone. Just as he boasts about his tech, the battery dies. Truly a modern tragedy. His confidence shatters, realizing he's completely lost. The team discusses his base, noting it's a long walk but a short blimp ride. Maya boasts about their own 5-star chef, and Norman's composure cracks. He suddenly changes his tune, offering to join them for the rest of the quest. As he gets friendly with Roman, Suwoo realizes he just wants a ride home. Norman's desperation boils over, insisting he can't walk for 5 days. He promises not to betray them since he's already been eliminated anyway. Norman agrees, promising to keep them alive but not to fight for them. The team offers him a warm drink as a gesture of welcome. He insists he's the one imposing, trying to downplay his A-rank status. But Suwoo calls him out for getting cozy while they're on edge. Just then, Roman returns from scouting with some bad news. He confirms a high-level monster is blocking the path ahead. He names the beast, and Norman is suddenly glad his own team is gone. Maya explains the creature is a local legend, the embodiment of nightmares. The team hesitates, but Suwoo tells them not to be cowards. Roman sighs, agreeing they'll push forward with extreme caution. Roman gathers the team, explaining their next move. Their target is the Batabat, a beast that traps its victims in nightmares. He warns that even he is vulnerable, but the exit is just ahead. He signals for absolute silence as they creep past the sleeping monster. Suwoo questions the plan, but Roman insists they'll be fine. Famous last words. But a sudden loud thud echoes through the cavern. Xavier's teammate loses his footing, stumbling forward. Norman reacts instantly, catching him before he can fall. They all turn, relieved to see the beast hasn't stirred. But the teammate looks up, a new terror dawning on his face. He looks up to see the cavern ceiling filled with glowing purple lights. But they're not lights. They're the eyes of countless monsters. And their quiet little stumble has woken the Batabat from its slumber. Roman shouts that they have to fight their way through the swarm to the exit. Maya unleashes her Firebird, blasting the creatures with a torrent of flame. Norman cuts through the chaos, his business suit surprisingly battle-ready. The other teammate lands a powerful punch, sending a crawler flying. But they're quickly surrounded, their path completely blocked. So much for the stealth approach. Suddenly, their eyes glow red as the beast's nightmare power takes hold. Xavier screams for the team to run for the exit, no matter what. Norman realizes his team is cursed, forcing a direct confrontation. He notes the beast's jelly-like body, aiming for a clean headshot, but his teammates admit they can't reach its vulnerable spot. Norman prepares to handle the situation himself, but a sudden whirlwind cuts through the chaos. and Suwoo emerges, declaring he's been waiting for this moment. Norman is horrified to realize he's also caught in the nightmare. Suwoo unleashes a powerful, fiery new attack. The blast slams directly into the beast's gut, but it bounces right off, leaving the team completely stunned. The glasses-wearing teammate offers to help, knowing Yunho is still learning. Yunho gets an idea, asking Xavier for a little assistance. The team hoists Suwoo into the air, ignoring his protests. They begin a countdown, preparing for their unorthodox attack, and with a final heave, they launch him at the beast. He lands a direct hit right on the monster's head. His teammates can only stare, stunned by the result. But Maya grins, impressed by their ridiculous strategy. Suwoo flies past the stunned creature, his body wreathed in flames. He spins through the air, unleashing a fiery vortex. The fiery attack pierces the beast's soft body. His teammates can only watch the aftermath of the strange assault. Suwoo lands hard, the battle seemingly over, but the Batabat lets out a final cryptic message. Xavier transforms using his copy ability to understand its words. The creature continues its strange, guttural speech, and Xavier's new form seems to understand every word. He translates the ominous prophecy of a rising Dark Lord. Well, that can't be good. The rest of the team wakes up, dazed from the nightmare. Suwoo asks if his sentient stomach took over, who admits he has no idea what just happened. Suwoo points out the monster's remains are moving in a specific direction. His teammate confirms the serpent's ashes also flew that way, a potential clue. The others refuse to stay behind, insisting they're ready to move. The newly united team presses forward into the cavern. They finally emerge, greeted by the sight of a massive golden city. Roman explains it's a statue of a guardian deity. Nothing ominous about that, I'm sure. Suwoo realizes the remains were leading them to this final location. As if on cue, a single glowing eye opens on the statue's head. A teammate notes another light has activated, leaving only 3 more, and Roman recalls the beast's final words, a prophecy of a coming eclipse. He explains the prophecy refers to the legendary Bakunawa. If it reawakens, their quest is doomed and the world will be destroyed. But a sudden explosion in the distance cuts their discussion short. Suwoo points towards the fight, suggesting they investigate. They find a superhero luring one of the Bakunawa's children. The hero, Viro, asks his partner for their next move. His partner is a supervillain, who tells him to stall for time. Well, this is an unexpected team-up, but the villain senses their approach, demanding they reveal themselves. Xavier steps forward, introducing himself and the rest of Comedy Inca. He explains they've come to warn them about the statue's seal. The masked villain considers this new information, recalling a similar legend. He acknowledges Xavier's expertise and agrees to hear the details. Meanwhile, Viro casually greets them while being squeezed by the massive serpent. Suwoo's teammates can only stare, calling all A-rankers complete monsters. The villain tells Viro to keep the beast occupied while he speaks with Xavier. He confirms their theory was correct, explaining he was about to test it himself. He reveals they arrived first but couldn't find Lee Jinho anywhere in the city. Xavier thanks him for the warning, concerned only for his team's safety. He then asks where Suwoo went, and his teammates explain he ran off to find his rival. Elsewhere, Suwoo argues with Norman, who insists on tagging along for safety. Norman questions Suwoo's plan, reminding him the villain said the city was empty. But the salaryman admits he knows a few places no one has searched yet. Suwoo tells him to lead the way, determined to find his rival first. Elsewhere, the masked villain unleashes a dark power. His shadow magic binds the massive serpent, trapping it in place. His hero partner, Viro, is confident the beast is now neutralized. He turns to address the other tournament participants who have gathered. He declares his duty as a hero is to keep them all safe. He asks them to set aside their differences to prevent a coming crisis. And he reminds them of the legendary Bakunawa, the beast that destroyed this city. The remaining teams are warned that any fight could trigger the summoning ritual. A powerful warrior lays down the law, warning them not to interfere. He stands before the gathered players, his authority clear. But one of the participants seems to have his own agenda. A summoner named Farah questions their motives, suspecting a trick. Others in the crowd agree, dismissing the threat as a simple rumor. A detective named Trey points out the villain's own suspicious behavior, but the villain's partner quickly comes to his defense. The warrior cuts through the arguments, reminding them of the real danger. Farah suggests a simple, if brutal, experiment to test their theory. The warrior insists they can't risk it, as a fight would only speed up the prophecy. The other players panic, realizing the entire area could be destroyed. Just then, another light activates on the golden statue, proving the warning was real. One player suspects Ian is jamming their communications, while another hopes they're safe for now. A green-haired girl cries out in fear, and an old woman offers her a calming potion. The girl gratefully drinks it down as the woman tells her not to panic, but she immediately begins to choke, screaming for help as she feels the beast's return. The hero, Viro, reacts instantly, rushing towards the commotion. He grabs the old woman, who begins a dark chant, offering the girl as a sacrifice. So much for the calming potion. She reveals herself as Bruja, a cultist ready to welcome her dark lord. Viro's expression hardens with grim determination. He unleashes a powerful punch to stop the ritual. The villain realizes they'd overlooked a crucial detail: human sacrifice. Panic erupts as the other players scramble for an exit. The golden statue rumbles, its final seal about to break. And from the earth, the legendary Bakunawa finally emerges. Viro shouts for everyone to rally behind the villain. Wait, what? Zilin creates a massive barrier to shield the survivors. The cavern collapses around them, but the shield holds firm. The system identifies the level 75 beast, the Moon Eater. The Bakunawa unleashes a devastating energy blast. It slams directly into Zilin's protective shield. The barrier shatters, leaving Suwu to watch in disbelief. He wonders how the seal broke, thinking the A-rankers had it covered. Worse, more monsters crawl from the abyss. So much for a simple rescue mission. The serpent's child roars, free from its restraints. The warrior admits his own barrier failed, urging everyone to flee. As the two beasts prepare to charge, he fears this is the end. But he refuses to give up, his body flaring with green energy. And Viro lands a powerful punch, insisting the fight isn't over. Viro stands firm against the legendary beast. He declares it's his duty as a hero to protect them all. The Bakunawa unleashes a devastating energy blast, but Viro meets the attack head-on, becoming a shield for the others. The sheer force of the impact sends the players flying. He tells them they can survive this if they work together. He shouts for everyone to listen to his commands. The warrior begins organizing an evacuation, while a defensive line forms to hold back the smaller monsters. And he rallies the A-rankers for the final impossible fight. Suwu cuts through the chaos, his focus unwavering. He asks Norman about the two locations he mentioned. Norman reveals one is inside the beast itself, a truly terrible idea. Suwu decides to search the pit while the A-rankers fight. The two of them share a moment of silent understanding, but they find someone has already beaten them there. It's Ayan, powering up a blast and declaring the games are over. Norman recognizes the arrogant pilot immediately, but he stops Suwu, warning him of Ayan's true power. He points out the rampaging beast, suggesting a truce. Ayan grins, admitting he triggered the seal on purpose. He questions Norman, who explains he's also looking for the S-ranker. Ayan decides they're rivals and unleashes a powerful blast. He then lunges forward, telling Suwu he's next on the list. A swift kick sends the salaryman crashing to the ground. Ayan is surprised Norman survived, calling him a monster. But Norman gets back up, a metal bat in hand, feeling a strange sense of danger. Ayan scans him, confused by his seemingly normal stats. But he admits there's something intriguing about this fight, and declares it'll be fun to finally put him down for good. Norman raises his bat, which glows with a strange, powerful energy, and he lands a devastating swing right into Ayan's side. The pilot is stunned by the sheer speed and force of the blow. He wipes away a trickle of blood, questioning the salaryman's true power. Norman calmly explains his baseball experience gives him an edge, but Ayan just grins, excited by the challenge of a real fight. He turns, realizing Suwu has vanished during their standoff. Suwu has already made a break for it, leaving them to their fight. Meanwhile, back at the main battle, Zilin prepares to engage the beast. The villain summons his dark energy, ready to join the fray. The Bakunawa's eyes glow, its rage intensified by a spell. Viro taunts the beast, drawing its full attention. It unleashes a powerful beam, which he narrowly dodges. The summoner, Farah, begins her own counterattack. She calls forth a massive kraken from a fiery portal. The level 60 beast wraps its tentacles around the Moon Eater. Xavier transforms again, becoming a spiked steel crab. He and Viro combine their powers for a massive attack. Their combined assault slams directly into the beast's jaw. Zilin watches, preparing to use a mysterious, powerful item. Zilin reveals a cursed blade, vowing to use its dark power for good. He unleashes a flurry of spectral slashes, but the beast retaliates with a devastating energy beam. The other players panic, realizing even the A-rankers can't stop it. Meanwhile, Norman's fight with Ayan continues in a flash of light. Ayan leaps forward, closing the distance instantly. Their weapons clash, but Ayan realizes his attacks are having no effect. Norman calmly tells him to give up, noting his lack of training. But Ayan just smirks, refusing to be underestimated. He prepares a new attack as Norman swings his glowing bat. Norman slides back, dodging a massive energy blast. Ayan watches the dust settle from his powerful attack, but Norman stands unharmed, feigning disappointment in his own power. Ayan just grins, revealing he was only pretending. But a trickle of blood reveals Norman isn't completely unscathed. He coughs, realizing he's been hit by a chemical attack. Ayan admits he was saving that trick for Viro, but is happy to use it now. Norman collapses, and Ayan notes it took longer than he expected. With the salaryman down, he turns his attention back to Suwu. The scene shifts to a strange, golden artifact. Suwu finds an ornate golden door, certain his rival is inside. Norman notes the engravings resemble the bakunawa, a final test from the organizers. He tests the door, confirming it's sealed tight. Norman warns him to be careful of a nearby chest, which could be a trap. Suwoo gives the suspicious chest a very professional-looking kick. His eyes narrow as he sees what's waiting inside. It's his ex-girlfriend, Hyunjin, begging for her life. A wicked grin spreads across Suwoo's face as he taunts her. She recognizes him, relieved he's not the monster she heard outside. He plays along, telling her the real monsters are still waiting. Our boy has a flair for the dramatic. He laughs at her fear, and she seethes with rage. She demands his help to open the door, explaining it requires 2 people. But Suwoo demands a price for his cooperation. This is getting petty. He finally agrees, making it clear this is about his rival, not her. But Norman's eyes widen. As he screams a warning of a new threat from behind, a massive energy blast erupts between them, and Ayan appears from the smoke. Impressed, they sensed his attack. He offers them a chance to surrender, not wanting to waste resources on newbies. But Suwoo steps forward, telling Hyunjin to stay back while he handles this. Ayan smirks, boasting that he already took down the salaryman. He scoffs at Suwoo's low rank, accusing him of fighting dirty. He claims he defeated Norman without taking any damage, and casually suggests the salaryman might already be dead. A cold fury settles in Suwoo's eyes. He raises his massive sword, vowing to avenge his fallen ally. Hyunjin watches, confused by his sudden struggle with the weapon. He swings wildly, and Ayan mocks him for missing a stationary target. But the pilot's confidence flickers for just a moment. A wicked grin spreads across Suwoo's face as he declares the trap has been sprung. Norman unleashes a powerful swing, catching Ayan completely off guard. The pilot curses, realizing he's been played by a dirty trick. Yunho praises Suwoo's acting as he presses the attack. Ayan realizes Suwoo is exploiting his close combat weakness, just like Norman did. He tries to create distance, blasting away from the relentless assault. But Suwoo refuses to let him escape, giving chase. He closes the gap with another powerful sweeping slash. Ayan throws a small device, a desperate counterattack. Suwoo meets the projectile with his own flaming blade, and unleashes a massive arc of fire ready to end this fight. The cavern floor erupts in a massive pillar of fire. Suwoo catches his breath, the attack clearly taking its toll. But Ayan emerges from the smoke, declaring the fun is over. Norman steps forward, a grim look on his face. Ayan just grins, preparing a new unavoidable attack. He summons a massive truck, a classic for any isekai protagonist. The truck slams forward, aiming to send Suwoo to another world. Again. But Suwoo leaps over the vehicle in a blaze of fire. He lands, his eyes fixed on his opponent. Ayan prepares another blast, refusing to be outdone. But Suwoo dodges the blast, his own power flaring. He realizes Ayan is finally taking him seriously. The pilot mocks his opponent's chances of winning. He lunges forward with a devastating energy-charged punch. The blow lands with brutal, undeniable force. Hyunjin screams as Suwoo is sent crashing to the ground. Ayan stands over him, admitting he's impressed for an E-ranker. He promises to add Suwoo's name to his list of defeated foes. A true honor, I'm sure. Meanwhile, the battle against the Bakunawa rages on. The A-rankers admit they're running out of power, and one hit could end it all. But Xavier, now a tiny bird, reveals he has a plan. He insists this form is necessary to save them all. Back in the cavern, a voice tries to wake the fallen Suwoo. It's Hyunjin, demanding he help her open the door. She knows he's still conscious, his mind lost in a memory. He flashes back to his school days, a friend calling his name. Suwoo snaps out of his daze, making an excuse to leave. The friend scolds him for not acting like the new captain. He walks away, wondering why the coach chose Suwoo at all. He guesses it's a desperate attempt to make him take things seriously. But Yunho interrupts their gossip, demanding to know what they're saying. He fiercely defends Suwoo, calling him the strongest person he knows. Just then, another teammate runs in with terrible news. A student was attacked by a local gang, and they need to get the coach. But Suwoo decides to handle it himself, running off before anyone can stop him. Yunho can only watch him go, muttering about what an idiot his friend is. He explains that Suwoo is strong, but also incredibly reckless. The new captain finds the gang in an alley, demanding they return what they stole. But he's facing the infamous Tagro brothers, the leaders of the Bang Gang. Just as the fight is about to begin, Yunho arrives with a weapon, offering to help for a price. Yunho explains his presence will keep the coach from getting too angry. Suwoo praises his friend's quick thinking, knowing he'd be expelled alone. Together, they were confident they could win any fight. But the memory fades, and Suwoo admits this opponent is on another level. Yunho offers a deal. Let him possess Suwoo's body to win the fight. But Suwoo counters, asking what he gets if he wins on his own. He gets to his feet as Ayan mocks him for surviving the last attack. The two partners share a look of fierce, unified determination. And Suwoo's body erupts with a new, powerful energy. A system window confirms a massive boost to all his stats. His level jumps to 23, but his abs stat remains stubbornly unchanged. Ayan senses the shift in power, his gut telling him to end this now. He unleashes his particle cannon at full strength. But the blast leaves an empty crater, and Suwu is nowhere to be found. He's reappeared behind Ayan, ready to strike the golden door. His sword slams down, shattering the ground around him. Ayan realizes his opponent is now much stronger and faster. Suwu unleashes a new skill, hurling a volley of rocks. Ayan deflects the attack, complaining that it's hardly a sword art. He realizes Suwu is growing stronger by the second, and must be stopped. Ayan lunges forward with a powerful energy-charged punch, but Yunho's expression shifts to one of pure confusion. Ayan is equally baffled by what he sees in front of him, and Suwu lands a clean, powerful slash with his blade. The pilot staggers back, cursing his opponent's dirty tactics. Suwu raises his sword, ready to deliver the final blow. He declares that this fight is finally over, but Ayan just smirks, a confident grin on his face. He laughs, insisting that he's the one who has won, and a tiny beetle crawls across Suwu's hair, revealing the real trap. Hyunjin calls out Suwu's name, her voice filled with confusion. She points to the small beetle resting in his hair. Just then, Ayan collapses to the ground. Suwu stands over him, his sword trembling as he prepares the final blow. But an intense pressure suddenly washes over him. Ayan looks up, a flicker of disbelief in his eyes. Hyunjin falls to her knees, paralyzed by a sudden, overwhelming fear. A new figure appears from the shadows, and Suwu wonders who this old man is. But it's Norman, his eyes glowing with rage as he demands to know what's happening. Suwu can only stare, realizing his ally has become a completely different person. Ayan panics, wondering how Norman survived his bioweapon. Norman's eyes glow as he questions their deadly intent. Ayan quickly surrenders, insisting he wasn't going for the kill. Suwu asks what's wrong, pointing out he's scaring Hyunjin. The salaryman's presence brings the entire fight to a halt. Norman simply apologizes for the interruption. He explains he doesn't want Suwu to have to take a life. He declares the fight is over, as Ayan is clearly defeated. Suwu lets him go, admitting he didn't truly win the fight. Norman acknowledges his point, proud of Suwu's growth. Norman tells him to consider this a tie, and to focus on the mission at hand. He urges Suwu to find his rival and win the preliminaries. Meanwhile, back at the main fight, Vero holds Xavier's bird form. While Zilin prepares another dark energy assault, the Bakunawa roars, weakened but not yet defeated. The summoner, Farah, calls forth her shadow eaters to attack, and the detective Trey reluctantly uses a strange glowing hat. The shadow creatures pierce the beast's tough hide. But Vero encourages the monster, telling it to keep fighting. Okay, I'm officially confused about whose side he's on. Xavier's tiny bird form flies straight for the beast's head. He dives directly into its massive open mouth. The Bakunawa's eye widens in sudden shock, and it lets out a roar of pure agony and confusion. Maya can only watch in horror, calling his plan far too reckless. The other players fear he won't survive the beast's violent rampage. The enraged Bakunawa charges towards the remaining A-rankers, but Xavier transforms inside it, becoming a massive whale that pierces through its neck. Well, that's one way to get indigestion. The beast bites down, trying to crush its internal foe, but the whale form slams the Bakunawa's head into the ground with incredible force. Zilan notes that while Xavier missed its vitals, the damage was fatal. But the Bakunawa unleashes one final desperate roar. A massive beam of energy erupts from within its body. The beast's eyes glow with rage as it begins to overload. Vero screams that it's about to self-destruct. He urges everyone to flee, but Zilan knows they can't leave anyone behind. The detective, Trey, summons a strange grinning pot and sends it flying with a powerful kick. The pot slams into the beast's face, releasing a dark energy. Zilan can only stare, wondering what he just saw. A ghostly figure emerges from the pot's dark energy. It introduces itself as Grim, an A-rank soul eater, and it consumes the Bakunawa's core, thanking it for the meal. The detective's teammate, Michael, congratulates him on the assist. The other players are relieved the fight is finally over, if a bit anticlimactic, and the hero and villain share a celebratory fist bump. The warrior breathes a sigh of relief. The danger finally passed. He calls for Xavier, but then notices the wounded Norman and Ayan. Norman insists he's fine, focused only on getting Ayan medical help. Meanwhile, Suwu and Hyunjin finally push open the golden door, and inside they find him, the man they've been looking for. It's Lee Jinho, the legendary S-ranker, fast asleep, completely oblivious to the world-ending battle just outside his door.